All right, one thing I can say, y'all, is it does sound similar. It really does. And another thing I'm gonna say is, being that I do have industry experience, I've seen multiple times where the artist that everybody hears on the radio or sees on TV or YouTube or whatever, I've seen plenty of times those guys take things from people that were lesser known. Their homeboys, this and that. For instance, the song Versace. That came from a dude, Skipper the Flipper, who has a stuttering problem. And we all got back from the mall and we were popping tags, and bro was just talking about his Versace. Next thing you know, Versace, 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 Versace. Hence the reason it was repeated so much. Yeah. Now, this situation, y'all, I just feel like Cardi or somebody around her. And this, let me say this, let me say this, let me say this. Let me slow down. Now, people like Cardi and the Drakes and stuff like that, they got writers, whether they're talented enough to do their own or what, but they get writers. And a lot of the times, these writers come across people like the individual who's claiming Cardi took the song, but they'll come across their material and they'll use it for a bigger artist. So it's a lot of ways that this could have went wrong, but at the end of the day, it's too similar. Period. And as far as artists coming up, this is why y'all need to get y'all paperwork right. Stop leasing beats, buy them outright, get them tracked out, and you need to trademark, copyright, or do whatever you need to do to every track you release. Real talk.
Now, I'm not even gonna lie, okay? Those songs do sound very similar. Number one, the name, they're both called Outside, and then the beats sound almost exactly alike. But Rissa Rain took to her social media accounts, and this is what she had to say.
Okay, so I know I posted that story, and a lot of people was commenting. So yes, I want to be very, very clear. I fuck with Cardi. I heard the song. I fuck with the song. But as I was listening to it, I was just like, sounded very familiar. And like I said, the song that I made this song 3-4 years ago. My manager at the time wanted me to make more music for females, not be so ratchet, not be so aggressive. They wanted me to make more twerk music, which wasn't really my vibe for real. But I went ahead and made it. I pushed the song down in like 20 minutes. Here y'all go, boom. Threw it on YouTube. I didn't even release it. I just threw it on YouTube. But that's neither here nor there, because regardless of the quality of the music or whatever, I had the plan. I just didn't have the platform, clearly. The idea was there, and I really do feel like you just took it and perfected it. You're not going to be able to tell me that no, and even if it wasn't the artists themselves, even if it wasn't Cardi herself, somebody on that team heard the song. Yes, it is a common saying. Yes, outside. I'm not discounting. I'm not discrediting that. But the coincidence for you to say outside and the beat sound the same, to me, that's too close. Somebody heard it and was like, I could see where they was trying to go with this. Let's take it here. You know what I'm saying? And that, if that's what you want to do, cool. But reach out and be like, hey, listen, do da. You know what I'm saying? But like, I hear it, and I know I ain't tripping. I know I'm not tripping.
So thank you guys for showing Outside so much love. I hope you enjoy Outside with your friends, and I'm gonna dedicate Outside. I know it seems like something. I want to dedicate Outside to my friends, because, and I want to say thank you to my friends as well, all four of them. I want to say all four of them for like I feel like because it's like y'all were there for me, and in a time of confusion, in a time that is like, I don't know, maybe I just needed to shake my ass. We would come home at 6 a.m. We would come home like at 6, 7 a.m., go to the afties, go to sleep in the same bed sometimes. It was healing me.
What is that on the side of Cardi's mouth? Let's start there. You don't need to be outside. Now, as far as Cardi being outside, she's reliving that 304 phase. point blank, period. And I think that's why she respects the Diggs dude's decisions that he makes with other women's too. Other women's. Oh Lord, women and women's. Women and women. No, let me stop. Anyway, that brings us here, y'all. Cardi. What really made me think about her was this story of a 26-year-old Georgia woman who was jailed for slipping stuff in somebody's drink and then taking stuff from him that didn't belong to her. Does that sound familiar, you guys? I thought it did. I always tell y'all, they let you do things up until you go against the grain. And I really feel like this will be one of them things for Cardi that will be used. How can you have all these situations, y'all, to where these women get in trouble? The two women in Vegas and all that stuff. But here it is, a mainstream artist talks about how she did it and this and that and this and that, and nothing at all. And then she also talk about gang ties and all that stuff too. So keep an eye on Cardi, especially if she's not performing as people think she should. But anyway, shout out to Basic Social Politics with Jada Black. Georgia woman slipped something in the dude's drink. Check this out.
For whatever reason, this guy left his drink for her to drug, and she drugged it. And the guy went to sleep, and when he woke up, all this stuff was gone. All this stuff was gone. See, gentlemen, you have to be very careful of the women that you take to your place. Now, this guy probably has done this numerous times. He's probably met numerous women who he's brought back to his place, right? But in this situation, it is very clear to me that I don't know if his instincts just wasn't kicking in, because you take this woman back to your place and somehow she's able to drug your drink at your place. That's the craziest thing to me. Is that, listen, if I invite a woman to my house, I'm not gonna be having her get no drinks from me. I'm not gonna leave my drink around. I'm not gonna trust her that much. Yep.
And this was a night out that took a turn. Investigators alleging this 26-year-old swiped thousands from the victim as he showed signs of possibly being drugged.
You're arrested for burglary to an occupied dwelling, a second-degree felony, and grand theft, a second-degree felony.
That's Bianca Thurb facing a Miami-Dade judge accused of stealing thousands from a man back on the 11th of this month.
His apartment was ransacked, and he's lost over $25,000 of merchandise.
According to arrest forms, the 26-year-old and another female met the victim at Coco Nightclub. They eventually left to pick up Jamaican food and went back to his place.
Then he drank some brisk iced tea, and after that, he began experiencing abnormal fatigue and drowsiness.
He eventually went to lay down as the women were sleeping on the couch. Now, when the victim woke up, the girls were gone. Missing an iPhone, a Rolex watch, a Cuban link chain, cologne bottles, IDs, bank cards, and more.
These heifers are savages. The least protected is BS. There's no such thing as women being the least protected. That is BS, okay? People keep saying that when we see more and more instances of women being the aggressors, robbing, setting up, taking the lives of men and women. Women are just as savage as men are. We need to accept that.
Now, the 26-year-old couldn't evade for long because the victim knew her license plate since he registered her vehicle at his place.
And that's how they got her. If it wasn't for that, they probably wouldn't have found her. I don't know if maybe it's with his particular place where he lives. You have to, that's actually good. That actually is a way to catch people if they do rob you.
PD eventually busted her. She didn't want to talk to anyone but a lawyer.
Count two, there is probable cause for grand theft. That bond is $75,000.
And how is she gonna bond out? I don't know. Is she gonna use that man's money?
All right, and she has since posted her bond. She has not made her way out of TGK. Of course, this story has much more to come later on. That's the very latest. We're live in West Miami-Dade. I'm Samir Nafsi.
Yeah, y'all. 26-year-old does this to a dude. And it's like, come on, man. We know somebody else has done that. Like I always say, they're going to wait till the opportune time to come out with it. And I feel like it'll be the moment where she steps out of line.
And I want y'all to understand, these women, okay, these women are a danger to themselves and other people. These women, they have a hatred for men, which is driving them to commit these robberies. You know, maybe they got it from Cardi B. Cardi B admitted to drugging and robbing men that y'all have swept under the rug, and y'all want to whitewash, and y'all want to pretend like she never said that when she did, and y'all are okay with it because she only did that to men, right? Because men don't matter, even though you heifers do everything in your power to get the attention of men. This heifer should be behind bars. It needs to be a mandatory prison sentence for women who drug and rob men. There needs to be a mandatory prison sentence. I'm thinking 10 years, mandatory. If he loses life, 30 years, mandatory. We need to put an end to this. See, when you don't hold these heifers accountable, they're going to just keep doing it. If she doesn't get any prison or jail time, she's just going to get a slap on her wrist and she's going to go back to doing it again. She's just going to go to a different area. Just like the female that took the life of the sports reporter that she tried to rob, right? She just went to another state to try to commit crime. She had done that before. I believe that this female has done this before. But see, men won't see that man. Let's say that man has a girlfriend or a wife. He's not going to report it. And these women know this. Men don't want to be, seen as weak or lacking.
Fellas, y'all better be careful out here. Ladies too. Real talk. I remember a period in time where people would be in a club with napkins over their drinks and all kind of stuff. Like, this happened to this dude at home. Now, what they say with a lot of these situations, y'all, is that a lot of these dudes have spouses and this and that, and they don't want people to find out, so it goes unreported. And I could see that definitely being a thing for sure. But do you guys remember the movie that came out? I forgot the name of the movie. I think it had J-Lo in it, a Chinese chick, a white chick, and a black chick, but they were just hitting licks, y'all. And they all got busted. Matter of fact, Cardi was in the movie. And I think it came out 2019, maybe 2020, but 2020 at the latest. But yeah, Cardi's gotten on numerous platforms. She's made numerous videos admitting to it. So just keep an eye out on that situation, y'all. But what I want you guys to also keep in mind is it might be different if it were a male to female thing. Why? How can Cardi sit here and do things that take that is done and what they accuse other people of doing, but yet we're the only ones that get the punishment? You really got to make that make sense. If they want to talk about what take that so-called did to champagne bottles or baby oil, we got to talk about what this woman did too. Point blank, period. Now, here's a situation, y'all. I didn't want to speak on it. It was so messy. But the Zaria car situation and the dude, Obi or whatever. Now, they had fun ridiculing each other and exposing each other online. But it wasn't fun when it wasn't fun anymore. That woman is no longer. I'll say it like that. And dude also. Toxicity is dangerous. And I could say that from my own experience too. Stay away from toxic people, y'all. I don't care how good the meow is. I don't care how good the whatever is. It's not worth toxic energy. Let's check out what the cousin says, because it came out that the chick got popped, y'all. Shout out to Hookahs Anonymous. Let's go.
Now, as of 2 days ago, Zaria's autopsy had been revealed and her cause of passing away had been made official. Some people said that she was stabbed, some said she was shot, some said she was even beat unconscious until she lost her life. However, we're going to get into what the official autopsy have said and also go over Obi's cousin reacting to the news of her cause of unaliving, in which the cousin has been very boisterous on social media, very defensive when it comes to the rumors surrounding her cousin's name, and as she should. Could you imagine having to log on to social media, witness a situation that went viral, and then have to hear false rumors about somebody you know, which is a family member, that you know isn't true? I'll be defending him too if the rumors were in fact false. Now, on the flip side, for the people that aren't familiar with the story, let's briefly break it down. Now, Zaria Carr, aka Duchess Dior, and her husband, Shamarcus Carr, aka the Frenchman, were battling with domestic violence issues along with infidelity issues within their marriage. Both individuals admitting to cheating on each other, and both admitted that they would oftenly put hands on each other whenever a problem arose. She didn't back down from him, and in fact, it seemed like she also enjoyed the toxic behavior that they both possessed. Now, both of them would oftenly go on Facebook Live and show the world their arguments, as they also would shed light on both of their deepest, darkest secrets, including discussing women and men they both slept with, even going as far as talking about STDs being spread amongst the two of them, which is kinda crazy. It got to a point where both of them went live exposing their personal life so much that people who watched them would encourage them to create their own TV show or podcast because they tuned in and were entertained. However, it seemed like this time around, things would take a turn for the worse, because unlike any other time, some things that were very sacred and supposed to be left in the streets was brought up by Duchess. They both were exposing each other's business, but Duchess would take it a little further as she started bringing up more personal issues concerning the Frenchman, which included the Frenchman trying to sleep with one of his close friend's girlfriends, tried to set up another friend of theirs to get robbed, but it was the last thing that triggered him, to the point where Duchess attempted to speak on it but didn't get to finish. The Frenchman threatened her the first time she mentioned a name called Udi and told her that mentioning that name means that she must want a DIE. That's his exact words. Duchess may have thought he was playing like every other time they argued, but maybe she couldn't tell the difference because he this time was serious. Serious to the point where she attempted to speak on his name for the second time, and that's when all hell broke loose. The Frenchman told her straight up, "Now, you got a DIE about that," and then for a short period of time, we didn't hear or see him in the live anymore. She still thought it was all jokes until someone asked her where Shamarcus was, and in less than 10 seconds after that, she would flip the camera to show where he was, and boom, the live was over. We wouldn't know what actually happened to Duchess. All we know is that the live cut off, and police reports will state that Duchess passed away. Many thought she was stabbed because earlier in that live, he grabbed a knife in the kitchen and threatened her then. So when we heard that she passed, it's only right to expect that she was stabbed, especially after not hearing any gunfire during the live.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. What really stood out to me was these two people that look like me calling themselves Frenchmen and Duchess. What comes to mind when you first hear those two things, Frenchman and Duchess? Nothing that looks like me. I'll say that. I'm not saying that there's no people that look like me in those places, but the first thing that comes to mind is something other. This behavior, y'all, it shouldn't be practiced. Real talk. And homie pillow talked. I don't know what it be after that. It's like it's a range from when the sensation starts to 5 to 10 minutes after it finishes. And they say that this is the best time to ask a man or a woman something if you need something done. But I don't know what it is about that period in time to make people just sit there and pillow talk. I really don't. If this situation was so sacred about the dude and who he didn't want mentioned, why in the hell did you tell anybody? I don't care how close they were with you. I don't care how nasty they were with you. Point blank, period. Why? And why would this chick go online and spew out that information too? Like, come on, man. Anyway, let's continue.
Now, the updated article didn't specify how many times she was shot neither, so I guess we'll just have to wait for that one as well. However, Udi, aka Obi's cousin, will let us know that the Frenchman knew to off himself after information came out that he may have had involvement in Obi's passing, because if he didn't, street justice was going to catch up to him very quick, and he knew that. Stating that the Frenchman basically knew that he wasn't going to live long anyway, whether inside or outside of jail. From what Obi's cousin stated, she says that Obi and Shamarcus were very close with each other. However, Shamarcus was a snake. And she didn't get into detail about what happened to Obi, but she did say that Obi trusted him a lot, but Shamarcus snaked him out and had a hand in his passing, and even went as far as going to his funeral, knowing that he had something to do with him not being here. Sheesh. Now, with Dutch's cause of death coming out, Obi's cousin has something else to say pertaining to the situation. Y'all check this out.
Good morning, guys. I just want to give you guys a quick update. So, remember how I told you guys that I was assaulted? Well, we just found out that not only did he do what he usually do, put hands and feet on this girl, but the autopsy report has came back. And he also pew-pewed her. Sending my prayers and my love out to these beautiful babies, because everybody that's online defending him, y'all gotta be sick. Like, he literally put hands and feet on this girl till she was unconscious, and then he pew-pewed her as well. I keep telling y'all, he wanted to make sure she didn't make it. Rest in peace to Zai.
We're going to end it right there, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on this Cardi thing for sure. If you made it to this point, say I made it. Let me know where you're tapping in from. Yeah, I'm out. Peace.